So I bought this little flex hose. It's just one of these ones that shrink up. One of those cheap ones. Never really used one in the past, but it works really well for hooking up to the homeowner's water. Instead of trying to mess with this stuff all the time, I can just leave that connected. This just when it's all disconnected and the water is empty, it just shrinks right up. And then it says it stretches 75 feet. So I'm gonna give that a shot. But today we're here. Got a couple of these units here. We're just gonna wash this one, front and the back. And there's a little bit of a fence that we're gonna do. So nice little house wash. Come in here, you can see it's pretty dirty. So we'll be getting all that off. So all that so far was done with the fan spray, as you saw. Sorry about that. Took the respirator off. I do not like or recommend these type of nozzles. I actually just ordered another J-rod just for the rinsing. And then hopefully soon we'll be able to use the ball valve on the pressure washer, but it's not hooked up yet. I just don't like the J-rod there. It gives a much better fan spray, as you just saw. Gives a little bit more pressure, I think, to the stream. Because even the straight shooter will shoot further on the J-rod than on this, and then the fan spray. I mean, as you just saw, we just did this whole building with just the fan spray. This is the fan spray on this gun, on this nozzle. I just don't care for it. These are the neighbor's plants. When I sprayed in that corner there, I saw it. overspray a little bit, so just a little bit. That amount of water that I just put on there is way more than anything that might have misted over, so that should be good. Okay. So this is the stream of the blue tip. It's just kind of junk. So we go ahead and put the J-rod tip in right there. You know, it's not incredibly better, but it's definitely better. Go over there in that corner. Now, I do not use soap on a house wash, so it doesn't take a lot to rinse it. Don't have to worry about the streaking. Just kind of wet it down a little bit, make sure it runs. Okay. So we're still rinsing here. Switch over the fan tip. And it just, I like it a lot more than the blue. The blue tips there. This fan tip too, it almost pressurizes the water just a little bit, you know. You can get a really nice rinse. Kind of push all the dirt along. It's not just lazily coming out. So a lot of dirt's coming off here, but it looks like there is some kind of coloration issue up there. It's not dirt. Let's see, will this come off? It's kind of, you know, sometimes you got to put a hand to it. Give it a little massage so you can get a little bit of that to lift off, but might rub it a little bit and hit it again. It looks like it wants to come off. I'm going to soak it again here. Don't have my tip on. A little more than I probably needed, but it is what it is. So while we let that sit, gonna move around. We got to do this garage here. We'll move to the back, and we got to use the striper, not the striper, the pin needle nozzle to get up there. Should be good. We'll move around here. The red line. Okay. And the last part to wash in the front is right here. Okay. And yes, I was lazy and did that from the bed of my truck instead of putting a ladder up. But it worked great. Okay, we let this sit for a minute. We'll go back and rinse it. But it's kind of just sitting there. I'll get this side again real quick. It didn't really want to come off, so I'm just going to hit these bushes one more time. Okay. Make sure you're taking your time hitting your plants. Just make sure they're nice and rinsed. And you'll never have a complaint. All that junk out of there. This just creates such a nice fan. I'll just skate across and rinse that whole thing. And then you want to be careful of when spraying the chem on this stuff. Make sure you get a nice rinse. If you got any chlorine in there, make sure you try to purge it out a little bit. Okay. Last bit here in the front to rinse. A little bit extra over there in case it's splattered. The less soap you use, the easier your rinse. I've used both. I've washed house washes with soap, surfactant, and then I've also done it without soap. Don't see a difference. I prefer not to use the soap because it just makes it that much easier. I was spending a lot of time rinsing, and so just so much quicker. If your mix is good, you don't need it to hang up there that long. Make sure you're always keeping an eye on your downspouts. So we washed. I probably can't see that, but we washed up there, the upper story. It's all coming down the gutter now, the excess. Just want to be mindful of that. Would be a better idea actually. Just send it right there, right into the dirt, instead of letting it run out into your grass. Dilution is the solution. So I think I mentioned earlier, I'm not sure if I mentioned earlier, but I'm going to get float valves for these tanks. And the reason for that is we've been using this blue line, which is connected to this tank. And we've been using this red line, which is connected to this tank. And so far, with spraying the chem, we've used about that much. And then with the rinsing and wetting down the sidewalk and the plants and everything, we use a little bit more. We're actually, well, we're up to here now because I'm filling, but when I started filling, we were down to here. So every once in a while, I like to stop, take a little break, check my tanks, and then come over and turn this on and so I can fill them up. If I have a float valve, once the water, I can turn all this on, the valve's open, the water open. Then once the water tank drops to a certain amount, the float valve will let more water in, so my water level will always be good. I won't have to run back and forth. So float valves are coming, and that'll be a nice touch. So here we are on the back of the property. Already got the windows wet. Wet down some of the vegetation, patio a little bit. Got our line stretched all the way around. Probably got 150 feet out, maybe more. Probably maxing out the reel just about. I'm going to wash down the back here and we'll be all done. It's just really such a good fan spray. Love it. Gives a nice even spray. Reach the gutters. You see the difference in the gutters over here versus here. Need to pull a little more line here. Better. All around those outlets, bunch of mold growing on it. Try to stay around the bird feeder here, give that a nice spray when we're done. Nice and green there. Okay, look at that, nice and green. Get that all good. Okay. That should be pretty good. Let's rinse out or switch out this tip quick. Now there's definitely a lot of overspray off of that. So first, just gonna hit our windows real quick. I don't want to leave any streaking. Hold on, I need a little more love for my blue line. Just a little bit more. Okay. That window, just a little bit. Start hitting the ground here a little bit. Now I know there's probably, there's no vegetation on this side. I know there's definitely some overspray. I don't see any on the windows. Mainly just concrete. Nothing that would stain. So I think we're good on that side. Same thing here. All good, nothing to really worry about. So let's get to rinsing here. All that cleaned up real nice over here. Gonna give that a good rinse. Just gonna hit these windows quick. And there's a couple spots up there that I want to hit real quick with the chem again before I get going with the rinse. Okay, I like that a little bit better. So let's get back to our rinse now. Get over there a little better in a minute. don't know if the camera's picking it up. The only reason I'm taking so long to rinse this side is just because there's a lot of junk on it, debris, webs, and leaves, and I'm just trying to get it all to run down so it looks nice and clean and neat. Once I'm done using this big nozzle here, I'm just kind of soaking it. I'm going to go and hit it a little bit with the mister, with the fan spray. And we'll have a really nice rinse here. Just knocking some of this stuff off the house. Okay, we'll be right back. And now we got the almighty fan spray out. Just gonna blast this a little bit. I'm gonna clean some of this off. Gotta take time to get some of those details. Okay, that's it. Time to roll up the hose. Get more hose, they said. You know, make your life easier. A couple 100 feet of hose. You'll never be short. Well, right now that's kind of a problem. It takes time to reel it up. While we are reeling, we got our tanks filling up. We're going to fill the water one first, and then we'll do the chem one, and then we'll be on to the next job. Just about it. We got that much water to fill up. We'll wrap up this hose and we'll be all good to go. If you move this stuff, make sure you put it back. We're just about full. I'm going to disconnect this hose from the house. Be ready to go. So trying out this hose. Stretches to the house. It says it stretches about 75 feet. I'm just going to wad it up and put it in there, see if it makes life a little easier. Well, I would say that this is definitely a lot neater and more convenient than this mess. So this stuff's probably going to be gone pretty soon. I might just get another 75 feet of that. It's pretty cheap. Works good. I guess I probably only need to, now that I'm thinking, I probably would need to keep some of this hose on here if I was going to feed the pressure washer. I don't know how that would work. It would collapse. So here we are, learning, figuring it all out. Figure out what makes things easier, what makes things harder. So I solved one problem, but maybe I can get rid of one of these hoses. And that one back there, the black one's pretty well trained. Curls up pretty nicely. Yeah, we'll keep that one on there. This green hose is actually junk. Kinks too much, but we're all good. Reels are locked in. Ladders never came off. House is washed. Everything's good to go. All right, just finished up that small little house wash there, just the front and back. Pretty quick, maybe an hour and a half, and if even that, for 175 bucks, and she gave me a $25 tip, so 200 bucks. Most of the time here, honestly, was just setting up and breaking down. Had to stretch a lot of hose around back, kind of awkwardly through someone else's property. Had about probably 150 feet of each line out, so that took a little while to clean up, but we're done, and we're moving on to the next one. Next one's going to be a little tougher. I'm going to try to get some shots of that. Doing a roof wash, a house wash, gutters, and cleaning up the guy's deck. So about 10 o'clock right now. That'll probably eat up the rest of our day, a good chunk of it at least, and we'll be done. So stick around, and I'm going to try to get some shots when we get there. Okay, so here we are at the second home of the day. We're doing gutters, roof wash, house wash, and a little bit in the deck. First, we're going to get up where it's walkable on some of this part, blow some of that pine needle off, and then we'll show you on the side here. Okay, so the siding had a bunch of algae on it all the way around. We're going to clean out these gutters, streaking on the back side. Down in here might not show up on the camera. I guess it will. We're going to give this a nice hefty coat. We're going to turn up the Kim for that, probably the same as a roof wash, maybe somewhere in between, nice and strong. And then as we're doing our roof wash, bunch of pine needles up here, big bundles of moss. We're going to use a stiff bristle brush and just lightly brush and knock some of this stuff off. We're not going to brush anything that doesn't come off with a swipe. We are going to leave. Don't want to ruin the granules on the roof, but a lot of that big stuff is going to pop right off. And then up here, we're going to get rid of this little garden growing in the gutters and hit some of this vinyl fence or vinyl siding around the outside of the deck. So this will be a good afternoon. Okay, we're up here on the front of the roof. Take a little quick walk around. Pretty walkable. What I'm going to try to do is on some of the parts that we can reach. You know, safety is always a primary goal. I'm not going to be getting down there. But some of this stuff we can knock off with this here broom. Okay. You don't want to brush it too hard. You want to remove the granules. But look, see this right here? That's it. Just a light brush. That's all it takes. A lot of that comes right off. Of course, I'm doing it one-handed, but it's just going to leave behind a much nicer result. So I'm going to try to knock some of this stuff off, and then we'll blow some of these off, clean out the gutters here, and then we'll get ready to wash. All right, we brushed off the front, getting out a section of gutters, and moved to the back real quick. Look what we have here. Nice and mossy. Have to get our friends out of the gutters here. But instead of just blowing all this pine needle off, spraying all this stuff pretty strong so it turns white, for a little extra work, I mean, look. Just get that off of there. Gives a nice better result. You don't have to stress on the shingles too much. So we'll get after that. It is scalding hot out. I'm dripping in sweat. But it's a good paycheck. Good payday today. And doesn't that just look better? So now we'll soap it up, spray it down. And these black markings and some of this more stubborn moss will get treated. But doesn't that look much better already? Just taking a little bit of time with the brush can leave behind a much better result. There we go. Everything's brushed. All the big stuff taken off. Looks much better. A little extra time with the brush, a little extra time with the blower. But now we're going to get down, take a break, get the Gatorade, cool down a little bit. Blew out some gutters where we can, the gutters in the back. So need to be done in a couple spots on the side. And then we'll break out the hose and start washing. Okay, we just finished all the gutters, the roof's blowing off. Big moss is taken off the roof. Now we're gonna wash the roof. And these sides, it's probably tough. It looks like it came in. There's a bunch of lichen. And on the far side of the house, there's a ton of algae. So I'm gonna crank this up. I'm gonna crank this up for the roof. wash portion, and then I'm probably going to just knock it down just a little bit, keep it nice and strong for the rest of the house wash, well, at least those two sides. And then, you know, you can see here there's a good amount of algae, so we might just keep it kind of strong and just, it's hot, not take all day, take it right off the building. So let's pull some hose, get ready to go. And we got the hose stretched out, got the ladder up. We're gonna go up over the roof, do our spraying, work our way down. Roof's pretty dark, in my opinion. A lot of dark streaking through here and a lot of moss on the back. So I went ahead, just cranked the soap on a little bit. On this metering system, it's at 20. And I just basically cranked open the chem and then turned it back a little bit to about 140. That's going to get us up there in our 5 to 6 range. And then, of course, the water's all the way on. So it is hot as a devil. I'm dripping sweat before we go up there. That roof's probably another couple hundred degrees, I'd assume, at least 100. Or at least it's going to make it feel that way, hot. So hydrate, take a break. And then we'll be up on the roof. So before we get started, just want to mist some water out here. That's better. I had to figure out what's going on with our water pressure there. It's very hot out. I'm thirsty. That means the ground is thirsty. So when we wash this roof, there's going to be some overspray. Let's wet this down a little bit out here. Nothing crazy, just a little mist, get a little wet. Not just going to hold a lot of time doing it. Then when we come through and do the house wash, we can do the same thing. Hit it again. A little bit. This is what is really important up here. Okay, I'm happy with that. Okay, we're up on the roof. I'm gonna start getting some of this sprayed down. So we have the mask on, so I'll have to stop to talk real quick. Since the first thing we did this morning was a house wash, there's still a house wash mix in here. It's turned up on the meter, but we got to run through the old mix real quick. So I'm just going to focus on this spot real quick until I start seeing a little soap, and then we'll start moving along. There you go. Alright, so all that bubbling right there, that tells me that the new mix has cycled through and the soap caught in, so there was a little bit of air in between, so now we're ready to wash here. Okay, so that J-Rod fan, as you can see, it's just really nice. I was talking about that earlier on the house wash. It's even better on the roof wash. Just gives a nice even coat, nice little mist. You don't have to drench it. There's not a lot running down the gutters. There's always going to be a little bit, but not a whole lot. There you have it. Keep going. So I'm going to keep this little patch right here for myself, my little island. I want to move with, make sure you move on the roof with a point to what you're doing. Have a method to how you're moving. And always be careful walking backwards. I'm going to spray this whole side now. Then we're going to leave this open so I can egress up to the other side. Then we're going to do this side. And we'll slowly walk up the middle here and spray this. Go down to the other side there. All right, the entire backside has been sprayed. Now we're going to move on to the front side here. It's very hot out. The shingles are very hot. Make sure you guys are definitely wearing respirators on these days, because I just took the mask off near an area I just sprayed just to put a little commentary in here, and it burned. So wear your respirators. Very dirty on this side. Nice and dark. Gonna give it a good strong coat. So there's a lot of chem going into those gutters. We put it on pretty good here, so we just got to make sure to find out where that downspout is later. Give it a little drink. Going to be using a lot of chem on the front here. It's very dark. Oh, hot. Let's just break everything into sections. Fucking bees just landed on me. Didn't sting me. Fuckers. Fucking things. Fucking things. I don't know what they want with me. They're following me. Oh, okay. Get rid of some of this line. Keep going. Okay, nearing the end. Okay, let's get down to the ladder here. My gosh, it's hot. Okay. Okay, we are off the roof. The gutters are done. The roof has just been washed. It's gonna look really good after that sets in and maybe get a good rain. So I need to hook up to the homeowner's water source. Going to here. So far with the roof wash, we use about half a tank, about 25 gallons. Still got a house wash to do, so I'll have to do something with that. All right, so we just came down off the roof. It's all washed. All we have to do left is we got to rinse down some plants real quick, and then we're going to start a house wash. And it's really hot, so I just hopped in the truck real quick, got some Gatorade, and got the AC cranked up. Truck says it's about 83 out. I don't believe it. It feels a lot hotter. It's definitely 10 times hotter up on the roof. So just want to say thank you guys for following along. I know at some points the camera work can be a little shoddy. Never lied and told you guys that I was a professional videographer. My priority is being safe when I'm shooting the videos and doing good quality of work on the house wash or the roof wash that I'm doing. And then the videos for the channel kind of come secondary. So I know I can get a little off shot at some point, but appreciate your patience with that. It's good as it gets. It's good as it gets. So I'm going to cool off for a minute. We're going to wash the house, and then we're going to be done. So we're creeping up on 1 o'clock. It's not a bad day. Not a bad day so far. So doing the roof wash, getting ready to do the house wash. Just want to rinse off a little bit out here after spraying the roof. As I mentioned earlier, keep an eye out for those downspouts. Send a little water their way. Especially this plant being right there. And we're going to keep roughly the same mix that we used on the roof for this side and the other side. This side obviously has a heavy amount of algae. The other side, the garage side, has a lot of lichen. So I don't want to be messing around with that all day. I'm hot. I'm ready to go. We're just gonna blast it. Blast it. Let it get cleaned up. Call it a day. So we'll get ready to do that. So the rest of the house, the soap's gonna go off. I'm gonna knock the chem back just a little bit, but I'm gonna keep it pretty strong. I'm gonna need some more hose. So because we are gonna use the stronger spray over here, I'm gonna go ahead and put my mask back on. We're gonna rinse this down with the chem, and then we're gonna be quickly wetting these down with fresh water. All right, I'm gonna step back here. Look at that already. So just by keeping the mix strong, you don't have to sit around and mess with it all day. We're just gonna do a section at a time so we can mitigate rinsing our plants and keeping them nice and clean. Nice difference. Okay, so this side of the house is all clean, looking real good. Just to speed things up, get done, I went ahead and I rinsed it. That recording. We are still using, oh, we need a little extra water right there. We are still using the house mix, or I'm sorry, the roof mix, because it's nice and strong for some of these spots. Want to hit this deck, and then all the lichen on the other side of the house, and then we will switch down just on a normal roof, or I'm sorry, just a normal house wash mix for the rest of the house. Nothing else really needs that power. Got a little carried away, started rocking and rolling, but this is all done. All back here, sprayed off the deck, this whole back area. So we're moving right along. You can see how different that roof looks already. Nice and beautiful. Making sure we're getting some before and after pictures while we're doing all this. So we only have 2 more sides of the house to do. Should be pretty easy. All the hard stuff's done. Sorry, just taking some pictures. And we're gonna be out of here. It's been a long day, it's been a hot day. Just gonna hit the really dark green spots real quick. Let those dwell a little bit on their own. Still using the strong mix. Did a little jumping around, but I really wanted to save it for this side. I'll show you guys that in a minute. Let me get my hose down here. So this side is all lichen, some algae. So I will show you the before and afters of this, but I need to put the phone down to kind of tackle this mess. And this is really the last side and a little bit on the front, and we're out of here. So I want to finish up. I'll show you guys this in a moment. Here we go. All that algae came off. All that's left is that lichen. You can see in some spots. It's turned nice and white. That's why I wanted to leave the chem turned up. Now it is turned down. We just have one little section of the front to do, and then we're out of here. So we're knocked back down to the house wash mix. It's not too strong. We've already soaped up this side. Just using this weak homeowner hose real quick. Okay. Try to rinse this side up. Not using any soap, so the rinse is pretty easy. Took all that black off, all that algae off. Change hands.
moving slow, taking our time. It's hot. Speed up. We burn more energy. Make mistakes. Get hurt. It's the last job of the day, so. Man, it's hot out. Okay. Pull up a red hose over here. So I have not hooked up to the customer's water once yet. The roof wash, the house wash, can't really see, but we're down. I think we're gonna have just enough. All I gotta do is this front section. So just to save time, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to power down and we'll get back to you in just a minute. Okay, we're all done. Roof looks great. Excuse me. Just finished up washing the front here. It's all rinsed. We're going to pack up these hoses and get out of here. Get back into the AC, into the shade. Big day, big job. Been here for a few hours. We'll talk about that more and get in the truck. I need to get packed up. All right, we are done for the day and we're headed home. It is hot. Truck's reading 92 degrees. It's more like it. Earlier it said 83 and I wasn't buying it. So before I get going, just like to say thank you to those of you that are liking the videos, leaving comments, subscribing. Please, if you're watching these videos and they're helping you and you're liking them, you're following them along, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Help me out here. And video likes as well. So that was basically 2 jobs almost from start to finish. There was obviously some stuff that I had to skip around on. If I videotape everything, I mean, I'll be there an extra few hours and we can't be having that. So I try to show as much as possible without taking too long. I'm never going to get out of the street. A lot of traffic. But basically that was almost, I'm going to take a jump here. That was almost basically a life or a day in the life of doing some soft wash. So that was basically the setup, breakdown on that second job, the one that we just left. I mean, you guys saw cleaning off the roof, removing moss, needles, cleaning out the gutters a little bit. We did a roof wash, house wash, did the deck. We did a little bit of rinsing, making sure everything stays nice and diluted, nice and wet. So, kind of covered a lot there, and I hope that's really helpful to you guys. So that was about a 6-hour day, 2 jobs. That 6 hours, probably less than that really. That 6 hours includes leaving my house this morning about 8 o'clock. So I started around 7. Filled up my tank a little bit, filled with chlorine, filled up with water. That kind of takes a little time. I hit the road, probably drove about 40 minutes to get to my first job, so I guess really we can knock that down to about 5 hours. And then even in between that, there's driving to jobs, there's setup, breakdown, taking breaks. All in all, let's just call it a 5-hour day. I guess we'll just be extra. We'll do 6-hour day. That last job we just did was $725. The first one was $175, but she gave me an extra $25 tip. So all in all, $925 day spread across 2 jobs in 6 hours. So a lot of you guys, if you're thinking, man, should I get into this? Even if you're just going to do it as a weekend warrior, you got a full-time job, you want to do this on the weekend, make a couple grand in 2 days every weekend. I mean, you can definitely see it. Like I said, I started at around 8. It's about 2:30 right now, and I still got, you know, what, 6 hours of sunlight left. I'm going to go home and do some more work on my house, work on my deck. But that's a really good day. $925 in 6 hours, really probably 5 hours, is not too bad. That's like $150 an hour if you do it by 6 hours. So making really good money there. And, you know, it takes some work and some time, but if you guys are considering getting into this line of work, like I said, even if you're just going to do it on the weekends, 2 or 3 jobs a day over the weekend, you can make a killing. So I hope all of this helped. Again, please like, subscribe, and leave some comments below, ask some questions, and let me know if you guys want to see something in particular. Peace.